afternoon, everyone. Uh, I'm sure by the day ends, uh, all among all of us, perhaps the uh, AI version will get upgraded. So it's been really interesting to hear out the conversations since morning and get to know various perspectives. Deepak, the same kind of question to you. How do you see Gen AI, enabling the startup ecosystem?
Firstly, thanks Business World for inviting us. I think this is a team of builders, so you will probably hear the challenges, the opportunities from the horse's mouth. To your question, again, thanks Faisal for that question. We've heard a lot today about what generative AI is. I wouldn't go defining it, right? Two keywords, new content from existing patterns, right? And the other is reasoning. I would be bold today to say that generative AI is probably species defining. I don't see this as an pre-internet to internet jump or a feature phone to iPhone jump. I think we are sitting at a cusp of something which is going to change our lives big time. From that aspect, think about this as just the start of much more crazier things to come. And for us now in this world, especially with startups, what it's really helping us is my industry, and what I'm trying to disrupt is a very traditional industry, which is the beauty industry, right? The Nykas, the urban companies, and your mom and shop salons and your beauty products, right? To disrupt something like this, which has been there around maybe for the last 3,000, 4,000 years, really needs disruptive technology, right? For startups like us, I think we are looking at opportunities which have never been there before to understand the customer and consumer, be it a consumer like me or a young kid or an enterprise like never before. Okay, generative AI to startup founders is giving that window to understand the consumer and the customer like never before. So, yeah, I think it brings about opportunities we've never seen before.
Coming on to Deepak, Deepak, what is your view on the same question? What are those maybe 2-3 things that any entrepreneur needs to, think about before going with this Gen AI first approach?
So when you asked, I was thinking about something which is a slightly different take on the word MVP, okay? I think I want to controversially say it's no more about viability. If we are not creating products which release dopamine, we are not doing anything. Let's quit, yeah? So I want to bring about a concept here which is MDP, minimum dope product, yeah? And I think as entrepreneurs, and I think as future entrepreneurs, I think the first thing is the product, is the problem large enough? Is it important? Of course, I think all of us know that. And is your solution dope, okay? Is generative AI the answer to make it dope? Or like Professor Shantanu in the morning session said, do you have a hammer? Because then everything is a nail, right? Right? Just do not apply generative AI just because it's around. But is generative AI the dope for your product? And if so, as an entrepreneur, I think look at the generative AI stack pyramid, I would call, because at the bottommost is your compute. It's your NVIDIA, it's your newer GPU companies. Above that is your Microsoft, AWS compute platforms. Above that is your foundation models. And it actually, so going above that, you bring in abstraction and then your application layer, yeah? It's not a traditional stack. It's actually a pyramid if you look at it from a cost standpoint. So if your dope is really generative AI, figure out whether you need to touch upon compute. Compute would be maybe $100, $200 million. If you have that kind of money, of course, think about it. Is it AWS a competitor to that? I would run away in the opposite direction. Is it a foundational model? $50 million, right? But can you start thinking about customizing foundational models? Can you make it your own without taking the $50 million funding which you're not going to get, right? So I have that spin on MDP And I think as entrepreneurs, maybe think about the dope product more than just a product.
Okay, good one. Deepak, quickly, like it's a rapid fire. What impact you're
Quickly.
expecting by 2030?
That's a tough one, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just make this thought, right? I think the path we are, Swayo included, is information to choices, to answers, to truths. In fact, if you really look at how data is progressing, it might touch upon these four things, right? That's what I believe. And I think we are in this phase where it's transitioning between choices and answers through generative AI. Generative AI is in some sense answering Turing's question, can machines think, right? But for Swayo and for the styling industry, I think it's about time that personal beauty and grooming becomes personal. It's not personal, right? It's boring. So we would expect that maybe we'll be a game changer in terms of how I get styled differently compared to my elder son.
Great.